When I started changing my life, my thoughts, my way to live, I thought that everything would feel better. And in many ways, it did. But there was something that it surprised me a lot. And it felt very lonely. And it took me a while to understand the process. I feel like when we talk about growth, the journey of growth, I don't hear much this loneliness part. My journey to growth and change the way that I live, the way that I think, and the way that I am, it started when I was very young. Um, I used to adapt to people easily. So when I was in my teenage and I started to hang out with people of my age and I started to go into clubs, to party, to drink, to have fun as any teenage, um, I would say that I enjoyed in that moment, but it was never my environment. It was never the people that I would like to share my free time with because we I just did it because it's what everybody was doing. So when I started choosing what I wanted to do, when I stopped drinking, when I stopped partying, or when I stopped going to clubs, I started to lose friendships. Like right now, I understand they were not friends. It was just as environment, circumstances of life that I was there. But for me, they were my friends in that moment. I left my hometown and I went to university. Then I started to hang out with people that they were more aligned with me, that they're like, they didn't need to go and drink all the time. Like we could meet to go to the cinema, we could meet to go to a dinner, we could go to meet to go to the beach and talk. That was more my plan, that this teenage plan. And then is when I realized, see, and I started to be more aware of, okay, this is more friendship for me. I want to be with people who I can talk about life, about our goals, about our dreams, about the things that we like, about more things that were interesting for me. Um, I thankfully found that, but in that journey, then I started to lose those kind of teenage childhood friendships. And every time that I was coming back to my hometown, I didn't have any friends because I made a choice of going somewhere else. I was not coming back often, and then I decided to leave that group of friends. And it was a choice that I made. And every time for me coming back to the place that I grew up, it was tough because I'm like, okay, what am I gonna do here every time I come back, you know? I felt lonely in that part of that transition because it was on a big part of my life. I was hanging out with that people, and then suddenly I stopped because I choose to grow and to have different priorities and different things to do. I realized about this journey that can feel very lonely when you are transitioning between one life and another. Difficult sometimes to understand yourself because I was between, okay, I'm not fully the person that I'm becoming, but I was still a little bit of that person that was becoming. So I felt like I was in between of two identities. One who's one part that I'm letting go, that I was letting go, and the other part that I was becoming. So that was very confusing for me, and somehow I didn't understand why I was feeling. People didn't understand me. I didn't understand myself. When I at least myself, when I was doing this change in my life, many times I felt that growth, it was harder than I thought. Like harder in the way that in many different occasions in my life that I've been transitioning into a new person, because I became more aware of my habits, of my mindset, of my behavior, of my priorities, of what I want. Every time I've been somehow letting go some people in my life and letting in other new people in my life, which has the pros and cons. It taught me that when I change, I changed my environment, and then I changed the places that I belong to, because I was not the same person. I changed. And it's sometimes I feel like it's a bit sad realization, because it's like, well, people who's been with you many years and then you let them go, or because you just don't share the same mindset, or they don't have the same priorities, so they have a different lifestyle than yours. But at the same time, I find that it's part of life. Some people come, some people go, some people stay. Like obviously, my family stayed, and it's okay. I know the new people came into my life, and it's okay. Um, that's something I realized that when I'm been getting older and older, was more and more difficult to find those real friendships and connections in my life. I feel like I'm becoming more, not just more aware, and I know what I want more and more, but at the same time, it's like my priorities are clear, and it's okay. I think that it's part of the journey of, and the growth of, sometimes feeling lonely in this process, but it's part of life, and it's just a moment, it's a phase of my life. It's not forever. It doesn't have to feel forever. That's kind of like my biggest realization. Why growth can feel lonely. It's just part of life, and I will meet more people. I will move actually to a new place and start to build a life a new place, so that will happen again. But I think this is part of life, and yeah, I just feel like we don't talk about this too often. We talk a lot about the pros of growth, and how important to outgrow yourself, your past, and be better and improve, and always become, but something else. But it's part of the path that I'm building myself, and it's okay. We're fine. We are gonna be fine.